What's going on, everybody? Welcome to NKU Sports Break. I'm your host, Trey Bowden. Joining us on the show today is NKU's head tennis coach, Brian Nestor. Thanks for coming on, Brian.
Thank you.
So what's been going on, ever since COVID hit? You playing any tennis? What have you been up to?
I've actually been hitting more than normal, so it's fun to get out and practice a little bit and enjoying it as much as I can. It's a nice opportunity.
That sounds great. You got to enjoy the weather when you can, and there's not much to do right now, so it's nice that you're getting out there and hitting around.
Yep, and when I talk to team members, they're in the last 3-4 weeks been starting to hit more and more.
Good. So talking about the team members, what are you doing right now with your players, during this COVID, to get them ready for the upcoming season?
Well, the good thing is all the student athletes are wonderful self-starters, and I don't have to push them as much as you would think, because they just go out and they're running on their own. They're, getting out and hitting as much as possible. Some of the student athletes are in, some of them are in the greater Cincinnati area where the COVID is not as bad, but I have student athletes all over the world. And one of the tough things about what's happened so far is some of the countries are just now opening. Like Spain was really bad. Germany was in great shape, but now they've tightened things up. So it's England's tough. Everywhere. Everyone has to understand that we have a new norm.
The season was cut short a little bit due to the virus. What were some life lessons that you took from this virus, especially with the season ending so quick, that you're going to take with you going into next season and, years to come?
That's a good question. I think so much of it is appreciate what you have. And, both teams had a good season going, and we're going to be very good in the Horizon Conference. And I think it can make them hungrier because they see what they had was cut off, and that they had themselves in position, so they have to kind of restart a little bit. But I really, as difficult as, there's so many outside factors for every student athlete, for every person overall. And if you can just take a step back and appreciate what you have, I think that will help a lot of people going forward.
Obviously, you were a tennis player, you're a tennis coach, and I'm sure you watch a lot of tennis. Who's your favorite tennis player? Who is the one guy that you would love to hit around with or to play a match against?
Well, I'd be scared to play a match with Roger Federer, but I really enjoy Roger Federer for a couple reasons. One, we've been blessed with his longevity. He really came on the scene around 1999, 2000, and has been going strong since. And he just had his second knee surgery, so hopefully he comes back strong and plays for another year or two. But I like him because he's a class act. He represents the game so very well on and off the court. And he arguably is the greatest player to ever play.
So I did notice on Twitter that the NKU's tennis team did very, very well academically in the classroom. Can you talk a little bit about that?
My pleasure to talk about it, because both teams have done an outstanding job, obviously on court, but as we talk about off the court, their dedication to their studies. And I have some individuals I have to push a little bit academically, but overall they work really hard on their own. They take a lot of pride in it. And the women, for the second semester in a row, have led the student athletes with a 3.87.
Wow.
And they're thrilled because they'll get to have a meal with the president again. And the men, they end up with 3.7, so it's not exactly bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but the women just have that little edge on them right now. But no, it's all the student athletes that I've been blessed to work with. they definitely take the time to work hard in the classroom, and it shows.
So you guys had a really great season last year, obviously until the virus struck. What can you take from last season coming into this season? How's the team looking for this upcoming season?
Well, both teams had a good season going. The women were 6-3, and the men were 6-6, but had a lot of momentum going into what would have been the weekend before conference. I return a lot. I'm very lucky to return all the women this fall with a new young lady from the Chillicothe area. And then on the men's side, I've added 3 student athletes. And again, we're going to be a lot stronger. I had, if I look at the teams on paper, I think we're going to be stronger on both squads than we were last year when I thought we would both teams would be top 3 in the conference. So I'm pretty excited.
Well, hey, thanks, Coach, for joining me on the show today. That does it for this week's edition of NKU Sports Break. I'm Trey Bowden.